What's up, Beer League hockey fans and fellow dumpers? Welcome to another unedited, unfiltered, worldwide dump and skate podcast, or in Holland's case, a dump before the game podcast. The number one podcast in the Bluffton, Hilton Head area, Pooler, Georgia, and Hayden, Alabama area. And for the countries of Israel and Colombia, shout out to Corey, my favorite droney homie. We are the Hockey Dynamic Dumpers, or as some haters call us, the 69er couple. I'm the podcast scheduler, social media content creator, official video and audio editor, the broken, old, and decrepit bender, the ball buster, the one that benders feel comfortable enough to start the game running their mouths to me when I don't even know you guys existed. I am the admin's bitch, Jeremy, supersized sports bra tits McGee Abdoo. With me, as always, the man that makes this podcast possible, the only producer that doesn't do any editing because he doesn't have all the time in the world to edit Abdoo's blind squirrel moments, the, as Dane worded it, talent of the podcast. We are back to this one, the guy I have to nag to upload the podcast for you, the listeners, the guy that won't hesitate to help out family or friends in need, the friend and brother that will always have your back on and off the ice, even at bars when drunk morons are talking crap about A-League players and D1 athletes. The very hard-working family man, Jeremy. I'm going to take a puck from the upper level and chuck it at a kid, Holland. Really quick before Holland starts talking for the next 82 minutes, the team at Dump and Skate and the production crew would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah. Have a great New Year and wonderful holiday season. Just in case he forgets to put this podcast up for another 2 weeks, Christmas is actually next week. So I wanted to get that out there. Go ahead, Holland, and take it over. I'll just sit here and take a nap. I feel a little sick. Sorry, Cooch, if I don't make it to the party. I love you. I'll see you soon if I don't come today.
Oh my gosh. Man, that was long. That was 2 minutes of straight Abdoo monologue. That's incredible. 2.5 minutes.
I don't know how you talk like that for like 7 minutes straight.
You get nervous. I was going to say, you get nervous in the middle there, don't you? Like, I don't know what to say. You start.
No, I start laughing.
Faster.
I start laughing, and then I'm like, wow, this is going to be taking forever. I got to let Holland do this. I can't talk forever.
That's funny.
But, yeah.
Holy crap. Well, what is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all shapes, sizes, and flavors? Welcome in to your favorite Beer League podcast, the Dump and Skate podcast. Man, that has been tough the last 2 recordings. We are super excited you guys are here. We have a phenomenal guest that's going to come on with us. But before we get too far into that, let's address a couple of things right off rip. I would rather be the dump pregame than the dump mid-game, okay? Sometimes you got to get it out of your system before you get dressed. I mean, look, is it better to get half dressed and be like, I got to poop now? That's the worst feeling because then you're trying to peel stuff off. Like, you can't get to the toilet because your skates are on. Like, it's just the mess here, right? So I'd rather be the dump pregame. It's okay. It is what it is. And as far as chucking pucks from the lower level and hitting kids, that was a complete accident. I was trying to chuck the puck at my own kid during his travel practice, and another kid skated in
right in the way.
And it beamed him right in the shoulder. I felt really, really, really bad about that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's my bad, kid. That's my bad. All the parents sitting there were like, who is this jerk? Like, no, my kid's out there. I'm sorry I hit your kid.
You should just point it. It's the Asian guy did it.
It was this one. It was the, no. Yes, Jeremy threw it. It was that one.
The admin's bitch.
Holy crap. Oh, man. Guys, if you are listening, if you have found us, go hit the like and subscribe button. We're going to start a new rule on here. If you laugh or anything we say makes you laugh in any way, shape, or form or giggle, you got to go hit the like button. You got to hit the subscribe button. Do it. We know a bunch of you guys are listening. Help us out by hitting like, hitting subscribe, things like that. It puts our podcast out to a wider audience, and we are super, super appreciative of everyone who is listening, that join along in our stupidity and humor. We really, really appreciate you guys. As Abdoo said, he has guys coming up to him on the rink. He has no idea who they are, and they are talking to him like they are best friends, probably because they've listened to the podcast or just because Abdoo mouths off to literally everyone at all times. My dog has decided she would like to be a part of the podcast.
Yesterday, the other podcast, it was Sarah in the background. Now it's your dog.
Now it's the dog. Everybody in this house wants to be a part of the Dump and Skate podcast. Can't help it. So, yep, this is great. Hold tight. Okay, she calmed down. All right. Also, if you're listening, guys, make sure you go support those who support us. Today, we want to remind you guys about Chicagoland Print for all your printing needs, business cards, flyers, banners, whatever you need. You need a tent with your company's logo on it. Let them know they can do that sort of thing for you. Like the whole 9 yards. Chicagoland Print has helped us out with, or helped several teams in our area out with logos and designs for jerseys. Have done a phenomenal job. They've worked hand in hand with other groups that we worked with the B&R Sports guys. And so, but anything you need printing wise, give Chicagoland Print a call. They're your guys. Abdoo's going to hit you with the website and the phone number.
Phone number is 630-233-7276. Website is chicagolandprint.com, or you can email us at info@chicagolandprint.com.
Beautiful. Hit them up, guys. They'll hook you up. Tell them the Dump and Skate Boys sent you.
Please do.
Please do.
Are we ready? We got them.
All right. Big guest today. If you saw the title of the episode, you already know what's coming. But Abdoo's got, this may be a 2.5 minute intro all by itself.
No, it's short and sweet.
Oh,
just
good.
like him. Just like him.
All right. So let's hear it, my guy.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, wives and girlfriends, and in D-cup situation, husbands and boyfriends. We got him. Another most talked about guy on the podcast. Mainly because Abdoo has a crush on him. If you build it, he will come. He is pretty new to hockey, but loves the sport like he's been playing for decades. I found out firsthand he won't take crap from anyone, no matter what level they play. He trains hard in the off-season and will travel miles and miles to do so. He served in the Army, so thank you for your service. I have been waiting for his, quote, service, but I found out last season that our guest is actually married to a woman. That just broke my heart. He is a legend, my legend. From Savannah to the mountains, the Brokeback Mountains. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce to you the captain for the Phantoms, Tyler, the hockey camp legend Kraft. Before we get started, I have a question for you.
I got an answer.
Do you pee in the shower?
Depends on the moment.
Really? Like what? Like are you so hungover you just don't want to go to the toilet, or do you?
Oh yeah, no. Generally, I just try and just let it rock when I need it.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Everybody pees in the shower. I do not.
I do.
Wow.
So what you're saying is you don't make it a habit to do it, but if you're in the shower and you got to pee, you're not stopping.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, no reason to step out.
Basically the same answer. It's all going down the same drain anyways.
Yeah.
Okay, slightly different question. Do you poo and waffle stomp in the shower?
No,
Good call.
That's hardcore.
Yeah,
that's hardcore.
Yeah.
I don't do
guys
either.
do that in Afghanistan when they because like when you get over there, a lot of that food messes you up, especially if you get some of the local stuff.
You don't even have to
It'll
waffle
wreck your
stomp.
gut.
It just runs down the drain.
Well then, Kraft, I just found out this is a military thing and a hotel thing. Are you a fan of powdered eggs?
No, actually, I hate powdered eggs.
I didn't.
Mainly because the the dining facilities I used to eat at, half of them wouldn't even properly mix them. So you'd get like a puff ball of powdered egg.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, really?
Disgusting.
Gross. Just
So-
some powder.
I've gotten
That's
food
so
poisoning from dining facilities so many times that like all the guys that I served with, one of them actually got a disability rating for his food poisoning.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's not a good look.
Mm-mm.
So I don't know if you listened. We did a tournament in Atlanta, and I had the eggs, and
A bunch of us did.
instant diarrhea. And I warned everybody, don't eat the eggs.
Yep.
And Corey Ward said, "Yeah, me and Cooch know these powdered eggs. I didn't know it was powdered eggs.
But didn't Corey and Cooch eat them, and they were like, "No, it didn't kill us."
I think they stayed away from it because they
Oh,
knew
okay.
better."
Mm.
So, welcome to the podcast, my friend. It's a long time coming,
Oh, definitely.
and we're really happy to have you on. So,
Really happy to be here.
you being new to hockey, how did you find out, or what got you started into hockey? Tell us about your journey. What got you into hockey?
So it started pretty much when I was young. Every kid gets exposed to the Mighty Ducks movies and all that stuff. So grew up wanting to play hockey, but I had a single dad, three boys, couldn't take people around to like, go play hockey, pay for all the equipment and all that stuff. Because my dad was a sergeant in the army when I was young, and we moved around a lot. And the only thing I ever got was that shitty little wooden stick with the glow in the dark blade from Franklin
Yeah,
that
those were
came with it as a
phenomenal.
kid. Oh yeah,
You could heat them up and be a left-hander or a right-hander depending on your mood that day.
yeah, exactly. So, and then it just kind of like fell off from there because we lived in New York, and instead of being able to do that, my dad would send me to like jujitsu, boxing. I did a lot of MMA growing up. Because like he used to do combat sports as a kid too, because he was a huge boxer. And then later I joined the army, and just all of a sudden I was just like, I really want to check out hockey more. I've always been interested in the sport. I always wanted to go to games, but never got to. And then I hit up one of my buddies, and he's like, "Oh, I have the perfect team for you." And then he sends me a highlight reel of Milan Lucic fights,
Mhm.
and immediately was like, "This is my team." I was a huge Bruins fan. I still have the jersey. Rather unfortunate what has happened to him as of late. With the case and everything, and really unfortunate for
Mhm.
his legacy. And then they started trading him, and so I later became a biggest Golden Knights fan because they traded him so much. I was not going to follow a player anymore. So as I'm getting into the teams and stuff, I start talking hockey with the guys at work when when I was in the army. Was getting my stuff together. We deployed to Afghanistan, and one really, really interesting fact that I actually wanted to talk about on here was while I was at Kandahar Air Base, they actually had like a half-size roller rink on base in
Oh,
Afghanistan.
that's
Oh
cool.
wow.
Yeah, so they had like a boardwalk that had like a basketball court, and like if you walked around it, you could see all the lines painted. And I was like, wow, hockey means a lot to people. And it was kind of like, everybody plays basketball. There's always basketball courts everywhere. You don't always see a hockey rink. So like that was kind of like I really want to do this when I get back. Um, so when I got back, went to my first NHL game finally.
What game was it?
It was 2017. It was Series 2 of the Stanley Cup, Preds playing the Blues.
Very good
So,
game.
yeah, it was, I fell even more in love with the sport then.
Were you
And then
in Nashville or in St. Louis for that?
I was in Nashville for that.
Okay.
So, I was stationed at Fort Campbell, Kentucky.
Okay.
So, and it's like 45-minute ride
Yeah.
to Nashville. It's great.
The arena's pretty centrally located there. We were in
Oh,
Nashville this past summer and walked. Actually, my wife and I went to a concert while we were there playing in a hockey tournament. But yeah, it's right there, kind of in the middle of Nashville. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, and the awesome part about going to downtown, going to games and stuff like that is in Tennessee, show a little bit of generosity coming from the military is everybody in the car can drink except the driver. So we'd get a
Nice.
buddy, pay him like $50, $100 to go take his girl out on a date while we're all in the back of his SUV getting shit house going to games and stuff, and then going downtown and all that stuff. It's I miss the place. It's probably one of the greatest places I've ever lived. Um, and then I came here, and I really wanted to do roller, and I just never had the time to do it. And then picked up, and then hockey started picking up here, and I was like, I don't want to know if I want to do it. I don't know if I want to like, I was very, like everybody says, like, oh, I'm my worst critic.
Yep.
like there's nothing anybody has ever said to me that I haven't said 3 inches in front of the mirror in my face. So I was very critical of myself.
I mean,
I don't know. There's probably a few things Abdoo said that you wouldn't say to yourself, but that's okay.
Yeah. Uh, so what ends up happening is
Sorry.
my girl, she's like, hey, you should really try this. You should really go out and do this. I know you really want to do this. So I started, I went to like, the learn to skate to get back my feet back under me. I started taking lessons from one of the coaches at the arena, at the Civic Center. And then I
Which coach?
played.
Which
yeah,
coach?
who
are you
was your
with?
coach?
Her name's Lila Dima.
Yep, we know Lila. We had her on.
Yeah, great. She's fabulous person. She was very nice, very understanding, very
Yeah.
very easy to work with.
Yep.
And then I played. I did the tournament, which the BLPA tournament,
Yep.
which I didn't know until I saw the podcast. Apparently,
That's
somebody somebody took my my call outs a little personal.
Look,
Oh,
sweetie.
was that? Was that for that?
This honey bear, look. That was our first run-in. Like
Yes.
I remember
all
it
about
like
that.
it was 3 years ago.
Yeah, because it was.
It really was. You were like, you kept on yelling at me for cherry picking. And if you guys listen, that kind of hits deep now down here. Even ask my fondue boo. And I'm like, who is this guy that like he can barely skate and he's beaking at me. And then the following game, you were doing the same thing. And then I was yelling it from the stands. And I'm like, oh, this is love at first sight. I said, I met my grinder match and I didn't even have to go on grinder.
So this is the really funny thing is I didn't know until that podcast that you thought I was calling you out. My team was not picking up cherry pickers the entire game.
No.
So like it was driving me nuts. So I was just screaming cherry picker when there was one out for my team.
That's fine. I love it. I embrace it.
It had nothing to do with the fact that it was you. It was whenever a cherry picker was out.
It
So-
just happened to be always you.
It just happened to be me. And look, I tell everybody two things. As soon as my defensive guys get the puck, I just start skating just because I'm slow, fat. I can't play like I used to, so I have to get a head start. I can't help it that I beat the defense and they're just still there in the zone. I'm faster than everybody with a bad hip. So
Yeah. What's that you say on the podcast? I'm fast as fuck, boy. You don't know where you're going, but you're going there fast.
I'll tell you what, you do feel like you're fast until you watch a video of myself playing,
God.
and then it's just like, man, you know what, Mr. Tanuzzi, stop recording these in slow motion because I watch it. I'm like, there's no way I'm going that slow.
We played a 40-plus game, and the A-League was playing right after one of our 40-plus games. And I got off the ice and was switching jerseys to play with my A guys. And a couple of the guys that are my age, that are in their late 30s, early 40s, looked at me. They were like, that wasn't a different A-League team, was it? And I said, no, that was 40 and over. They go, oh, okay, good. We were wondering if we looked that slow when we were out there too. It's like, oh, man, guys, come on, calm down.
Yeah. And then that season with the Phantoms, we took the first win there.
Yeah.
And I keep the Stanley keg on the jersey as a little
That's,
homage
that's cool.
to Eric Hook, our former captain, who's unfortunately moved away. I really miss that guy. That guy was a wealth of knowledge. And one of the big things that I picked up on as a new guy is listen to all the guys who've been playing.
Yeah.
Don't think that you're like, oh, I read this somewhere, blah, 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 blah. You're not going to be like, it's not like you're going to be out there and Swaggy P's going to be able to up your game. You can barely handle the puck. You're not going to be out there doing lacrosse goals and Michigans. So you're going to need to learn the basics. So, and those guys generally have it all, like Jeff Radizzi. I don't know if you've met him.
We know Jeff.
So
Yeah.
So Jeff, every second I had something come up and I needed like a little advice, he would just be in my ear like, hey, do this, pay attention to this, do this. And anything I ever regurgitate to anybody has always been something that's been said by somebody who is way better than me. And and everybody just is learning the game And anytime you get a little piece of advice, it's another lure in your tackle box, another tool in there to get it done.
Well said.
Yeah, Jeff is a OHL old head. I don't know how old
Yeah.
Jeff is, but he played, I think they said back in the early 90s maybe, played in the OHL. So he's seen a lot of hockey. But he's a good guy. He's been a lot of fun to watch play in leagues. I've never played with him, but I know guys like you that have played with him that speak really highly of him. Smart guy, knows hockey, doesn't mind sharing his info to guys that are relatively new to the game. So yeah, that's
No, and
pretty
he's always
cool.
willing to help. He's always willing to
Yeah.
help, so.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. So you said you were a big Golden Knights fan. Obviously, we're here in Savannah. So what got you? You said you were in Kentucky, so you were close to Nashville, but then you moved to the Savannah area. Was that military service that moved you? Was that job? What moved you to Savannah?
So it's a little bit of everything. So when my dad was in the military, he was stationed here.
Okay.
I actually used to go to Largo Tibet Elementary School.
Nice.
So when I recognize the area, I know a bit of it. I'd come here and visit often because my mother's side of the family's from here. So I'd come here often. I know the area. I love the area because there's a lot of good memories, childhood, and all that stuff. And I actually got stationed here for one of my first assignments. So I was at Hunter, and then they moved us to Fort Stewart. And so, like, I still remember the area. I still loved it. Going to the Savannah Hockey Classic was always fun. And I decided I wanted to move back here when I got out, because I was deciding, I was like, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to try that out. Tell you right now, going back to college as a 26-year-old, hard. And it makes you look like a creeper, especially when you join a fraternity like me.
We have some GSU players that have joined school again at some very peculiar ages, so we know exactly what you're talking
37, 39-year-olds that play GSU.
What?
Yeah.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh,
They're just going. They're just taking online classes, so they're not actually creeping people out.
Yeah, they're not
anymore.
going on
Yeah.
campus. I would go to campus just to creep on
Abdoo
people.
would go to campus, check
Oh,
out
yeah.
all the guys.
Yes,
There
I
you
would.
Oh man!
Taking
All
a
right,
gym
so
class.
you came back to Savannah, knew the area, wanted to kind of move back, going to school. Are you going to school at Georgia Southern?
I was going to school at Armstrong.
Okay, so
now
the old,
Georgia Southern.
which is
Yeah.
now Georgia Southern. Yeah. So I graduated
Yeah.
from Armstrong, so I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so you were a big Golden Knights fan. The Savannah Ghost Pirates show up here, 3 years ago? And that had to be pretty nice for you to have an affiliate of the Vegas Golden Knights in the Ghost Pirates. And also, how pumped are you? Are you able to make a lot of? My wife and I were at a game and they jumbotroned you and your wife, and I was like, "Hey, I know that guy, and he's chugging a Mike's Hard Lemonade. What is he doing?" Or no, it was like a Truly or something. I don't know. It was a big
Yeah.
can of some sort of like seltzer drink, and I was like,
Yeah.
"That guy's pounding a seltzer. What are we doing here?" And so,
Yeah.
are you a big Ghost Pirates fan?
Oh, 100%. So, from my understanding, when I talked to a bunch of the guys who work in the ticket sales,
Mhm.
is that I was actually the one to buy the first, if not the first, one of the first glass seats.
Oh, nice.
So right off
So
the
you're a
rip.
groupie.
Oh yeah. So my seats are right next to the tunnel. I'm high-fiving players like I'm a giant man child.
Do you smell your hand afterwards?
Yeah, it's delicious.
We
And
didn't ask if you tasted it. We asked if you smelled it.
little column A, little column B. So yeah, and it's been all I've ever really wanted, was to really get into hockey. And I've been emailing. Prior to that, I'd been sending periodic emails to the city of Savannah, like, what can we do to make the area better or make the people more happy? And I would be sending emails and be like, hey, you guys should make hockey more of a thing here.
Now you got a restraining order?
Yeah, unfortunately. I got it so many times. And then one year, right before they announced the Savannah hockey team as the original announcement, I got an email back saying, look out, there's something in the works. And I was, for the next 6-7 months, I was just losing my mind, because I was like, hockey's finally coming here.
You were like, we're either getting hockey or I'm getting arrested. I don't know which one, but I'm excited about both of them.
Yeah, something's coming. It's the FBI.
I know, right? So, and
Chatham County Police.
I know, right? Dun, dun. So it was really amazing to get all that happening and to be one of the first people to get, really good seats there. I'm never giving up my seats. I love those seats. And I just was so happy to have hockey here now. And then they announced the ice hockey league here, and I was very hesitant, and then I finally did it. And I'll tell you right now, everybody on my team, great locker room guys. My first season, you guys know Zach Sprints.
Yep.
Never
That
heard
guy,
of him. Good question. Good question.
good question. So, and he was one of the guys on my team, and it was really good playing with him. He made me look good, even though I still look like trash. Um, so
Yeah, he makes everyone look good.
yeah. Oh no, I didn't even mean it in that way.
That's the way we
No.
took it.
No,
Oh,
no,
Spreads,
no,
you're getting dogged.
no, no.
Hey, who you guys play in the night, Crafter?
The zeros.
Okay,
So,
not sprints then. Okay.
no. Sprints made me look good quite a few times because I would get some assists because I would get a pass that I would just rifle over to him and he'd turn it into a goal. So I was very, very glad playing with him, and
Gotcha.
yeah.
Why can't you do that on the 40 teams, Brent?
What the heck?
Jerk.
So
And
and
that guy passes all the time.
Passes
Yeah.
gas.
so
Oh,
yeah,
man.
and then the following summer, I took off. I was working a job as a low voltage technician, and my girl, she started traveling as a CT technician, and in comes, an opportunity. She's like, "Hey, I really want you to go on the next traveling contract with me." And I was like, "All right, let's do this. I want to pick a place where there's hockey, so that way I can train in the off season." And we're looking through some places in Michigan, some places in New York, Massachusetts, and then Vermont pops up. So the money in Vermont was so good we couldn't pass it up. So
Nice.
we end up moving there for about, I think, like 6-7 months I was up there, and we're just, looking around, and I was like, finally, like, you know what? I'm gonna stop going to Stick and Puck. I'm gonna go start taking lessons. So I whip out my phone, I start Googling, and there's a few companies, and there's this one less than a mile down the road called Elevate 02.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
yeah,
that's your boy. Yeah.
yeah, and so I walk in there, no one's answering the phones. A lot of people are busy. Every place wasn't answering the phone. So I was like, you know what? Hey, I'll just pop my head in there. So I step in. I was like, hey, I'm looking to take lessons. And this guy walks right up to me and he's like, oh, let me show you the facility. Let me talk to you about what's going on, prices, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, just talking to him. And then we step into his office and I'm looking around and there's a whole bunch of, like, jerseys, photos. And like, I'm trying to pay attention to him, but like I keep seeing it. There's just like Mitchell here, Mitchell there. And it turns out the whole entire time I've been talking to Torrey Mitchell, the NHL player. And I was like, oh, this guy is.
Did you smell his jerseys hanging up like the Ghost Pirates?
Oh no, unfortunately I couldn't. He was a
Whatever.
little protective over those. So, but if you ever want to check him out, him and one of the guys who was the captain at Skidmore College in New York run another podcast called the Pre-Game Twirl, and which you vary up in the NHL. They do a lot of interviews, a lot of good stuff. And then I also got to meet Pete Lenz, also known as a social media handle Swaggy Pete.
Yep.
Super nice guys. I was so intimidated walking into that place because I was like, oh my god, all these guys they were the nicest guys alive.
Yeah.
I would shoot the shit with Torrey Mitchell constantly, and it was really good, and I had a lot of opportunity. So, and that, I'm assuming that's where you got the idea for my moniker, Hockey Camp Legend, right there.
That is, I don't remember how we heard about it, but I'm glad you told the story because I was going to ask, because kind of what came to us through the grapevine, and again, I don't even remember where it came from, was that, hey, Kraft went to Vermont and spent the summer in a hockey camp. And I was like, no way a full grown adult like went to hockey camp for the summer like a child
What
would.
I thought.
And I was like, that's
I
crazy.
thought
So
you were
that's where
sharing a room, bunking with strangers, and
with like a 12-year-old.
Yes.
You're like, I know I'm 25, but I just want to
Yep.
go and learn how to play better. And this 12-year-old kid's there like, why is this old man in here with me? And why is he looking at me while I'm changing my clothes? So it was a little off in our heads too, but that's where the hockey camp legend nickname came from. And I think it just came to us in the last couple of months that you made a statement to somebody, and it may have been to one of us, that was like, hey, I never went to hockey camp. I was traveling for work and there happened to be a place. And so I was like, I'm going to go get lessons. Like, I do want to get better. So the name is still going to stick. It's still going to be hockey camp legend, but
you
it makes a
embraced
little
it.
more-
You embraced
Yeah,
it. That's
you
where I fell
did.
in love. That's where I fell in love. You got it on the back of your jersey. That's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But it does make more sense, and that's a really cool story. I'm glad you I'm totally cool with you advertising for those guys.
I really wish you did like share a bunk with like 6 other guys, like kids. That would have been some like Pee-wees or
that would have been a more
Bantams.
that would have been a more comical story.
Yeah. Can we tell the story over again?
Can we change this? Change this for our listeners, please.
So one of the things that they kept kept reiterating is they actually do a men's camp for a week during the summer.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be doing that. I can't just give up a week of my life to go up and to train like that. But running into it and all that stuff, and those guys helped me tremendously. But one massive thing I took away from that was I need to learn how to fucking skate. I'm shit. That's one of the things they're like, they were trying to be nice about it the whole time. I spent a lot more. You see me a lot more time out on the ice now.
I do. I see you at Stick
stuff.
and Puck every time I get there. That you're always. Hey, to be fair, you got a good shot for a guy that just started playing. I think
I really appreciate that.
I think you have a decent shot for a guy that just started playing. So
I tell my kid the same thing though. And again, your background in hockey is limited because of a whole bunch of circumstances. So we use the phrasing and terminology that you're relatively new to hockey. Obviously, you've been around it and been a fan of it for a long time. But as far as participating in an organized league and things like that, that is relatively new to you. So my 10-year-old son is playing, and that's about the age that I started. I grew up here playing hockey in the Savannah area. So it was a lot of roller hockey, a little bit of ice at times. The hockey classic you mentioned, I used to play in that when I was in college. I was at the University of Georgia for a few years. I would come back home and play in it. But my kid is rolling through a lot of the same stuff I did. He started in a learn to skate, learn to play. He's moved his way into playing travel hockey this year. And he and I regularly talk about, what he wants to do better at. I want to learn to shoot better. I want to learn to stick handle better. And I always try to remind him, hey, look, if you want to do those things, what do you need to do first and foremost and best? And he's like, I need to be able to skate. And I was like, that's exactly right. I was like, so you can always, work on your skating. So you're not wrong by saying, hey, some guys have pointed out, I really, really, really need to work on my skating. And we're really fortunate in this area that I'm not going to diminish guys like Torrey Mitchell, Swaggy P. Those guys, obviously great skaters, have had great careers, whether it be through social media, professional hockey, whatever it is. We're super fortunate here to have good teachers and coaches. You mentioned Lila. Pete Rossi heads up the kids program that teaches a lot of the kids their stuff, but he also for a while was running a lot of the adult learn to play program. And I had a bunch of guys that were playing across the league in 40 plus C, various levels. We actually had a couple guys that were playing in our A League that were realistically B League players, and they could kind of see they were a step or two behind. They actually started coming in on the old Sunday mornings to the adult learn to skate, learn to play, and the skills clinics and stuff, trying to just hone their skating skills that Pete was running. And all those guys, to a man, spoke very, very highly of every single coach that was out there training and teaching and trying to elevate all those guys' skating skills. So it's good that you had the opportunity to go to Vermont, but I'm super happy that we have the ability to have good coaches here that can help guys like you come along.
Oh yeah, I 100% agree with that. And one big thing is I actually did do the learn to play clinics when they first started them out here, and I would go to them religiously. So much so that during the beer league tournament, I actually went to the morning session that morning and then played 2 games. So I was dying by the end of all that, and it made a huge difference in my skating and my ability. A lot of people commented on it, and so whenever anybody asks me like, hey, what can I do, I always recommend talking to one of the coaches here and starting taking some lessons, or even going to the learn to play clinics for adults, because it is extremely helpful. And I like it. It went from like I couldn't even, move the puck on the ice to like now I can actually move with the puck and, you know, rip off a shot maybe if I'm lucky. So let alone,
Well,
not falling on my ass the whole time.
another thing that's helped too is as we've kind of continued to modify divisions so that guys land in the divisions that they're really more suited for. Right out of the gate, we didn't know what we were going to have when we first started this league. And so we really had kind of an upper and a lower division. And the upper division was clouded with guys that probably didn't need to be there. The lower division had guys that were on the top end of that didn't really need to be there. So in year 2, it got a little more defined, where we had a little better picture of what the A League looked like, a little better picture of what the C League looked like. And this year is the really first year we've had some clearly defined, A, B, and C type, divisions where you got an upper, a middle, and a lower division. And so the lower division, even though there's only 4 teams, I feel like there's with one or two, exceptions, everybody really is kind of on equal footing there. You guys are all out there as either first timers or relatively novice skaters. And so it makes it better for you to not have to try to skate like guys that can skate with no problem and handle the puck and stuff. That's frustrating for guys like you that are relatively new to have to try to chase those guys around. So now you're being given the opportunity by being in a properly divisioned league, like, hey, I can actually carry the puck and I can skate up the ice. So you can develop those in-game skills that prior to this season was probably a difficult thing. So that's a really good thing too. I've heard, again, a lot of feedback from you and from other guys around there of like, hey, the league, we really, really like and appreciate this level of league that we're playing in now. It's way more tailored to the level we're all at. It feels fair. It feels fun. And we can still be competitive.
It's still competitive, yeah.
Yeah. That's been a lot of
Well,
fun too.
it's funny that you talk about that, because when I'm stepping out on the ice during our first season, second season, all that, the whole reason why I was a massive pest was because that I could barely contribute to the game, so I would just mess with people to get them off their
That's
game.
half the fun. That's why I'm the dick I am now, because I can't play and I just run my mouth. And
hey, if you throw somebody off their game, you're contributing in some capacity. So
I throw myself off my own game. I passed to the other team last game and they scored.
Absolutely.
Happens
to the best of us. So I don't want to let us go without addressing the massive elephant that used to be in the room. And so the relationship between Abdoo and our good buddy, Mr. Kraft, kind of came to a head towards the tail end of last season, I believe. And it was playoff time, and Abdoo was in the stands, steady chirping, rolling. And as you guys have both admitted, you both are chirpers on the ice. If you challenge Abdoo to a chirp off, I like to say it's probably not going to go well, because he's like my middle son, my 15-year-old son. Like, you don't start pushing him because my kid doesn't know when to stop. Abdoo's kind of the same way. And so we were sitting in the stands, and I'm just going to describe the whole thing here. So we were sitting in the stands, and I think I knew that she was your wife or girlfriend, but she was way off in a distance from us. She was not sitting nearby where we were at. And Abdoo was steady hockey camp legend chirping from the stands, among other things. And I noticed once or twice that she spun around, and I said, hey, I think that may be like girlfriend or wife or something, Abdoo. I'm not sure. He goes, I'm not talking to her. I'm talking to him. It's okay. I'm not, whatever. And so into the game, I think she, as you had said, was a little irritated that, hey, this guy is running his mouth about my husband. Like, what the crap? So she was doing kind of the over-the-shoulder picture thing really quick of him, and I caught it, and I said, hey, I think she may have just, like, snapped your picture. And so Abdoo kind of had a smart comment to it. She apparently came to you post-game, was like, hey, this idiot in the stands was talking crap.
I don't think she said idiot. She said this very attractive 48-year-old, super dapper, looks gorgeous, just golden light around him. That's what she was saying.
So the next thing I know is we come out of the stands, and all of a sudden from the locker room area, I hear, who the heck is talking crap? And I recognized your voice, and Abdoo busts through the curtain like a WWE star coming out to the ring. And it's like, I'm talking crap. What about it? And you were like, oh, of course it's you. And so it was this whole thing and all, and it seemed to kind of smooth over. Well, we jumped on the podcast and we talked about it. Just same thing we did right there. And you, Kraft, were like, hey, what the heck? Don't talk about my wife, right? And so there was this whole thing where you were very frustrated with it. this season starts, you approached Abdoo and were like, I don't appreciate you doing that. I'm not a big fan of that. And so Abdoo and I both said, hey, tremendous amount of respect towards you for standing your ground and saying, hey, I don't like it when you don't bring my wife up, don't call my wife out type thing. And so we later went on and said, hey, look, it really wasn't calling your wife out. We were just kind of commenting and joking about the situation. Had nothing to do with your wife. Abdoo didn't even realize that it was your wife and all. And so I'll reiterate, there was no disrespect meant towards your wife whatsoever.
None.
But as soon as that kind of conversation was had, you were like, oh, well, you guys weren't coming after my wife. You were just kind of, busting my chops and cutting up or whatever. Instantly started laughing. Everything was good. Probably, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, something like that. Good conversation after that. Then it rolls out and you were like, hey, I got a jersey for you guys. And so you've fully embraced the Hockey Camp Legend nickname. You've got a jersey that with the HCL acronym on the back of it. And so I think it's hilarious that that you and Abdoo have gone from sworn enemies to Brokeback Mountain lovers now. There are no hindrances on Abdoo's side. He has no ties. There's no significant other. At some point, you'll have to explain to your wife that you've got this side piece going on with Abdoo, but that's okay.
Hey,
I'll be your side piece.
I'm just going camping in the mountains.
Hey, you just tell me what you tell me when and where. Like I said the other day, I didn't even know that you had a significant other, especially one that was a female. I thought you liked the same sex. I was really jealous and brokenhearted. And like I said, with Holland standing right next to me, this is my way of flirting. I thought, like,
Hey.
When you're in kindergarten, you have that crush and you like to pull hair or flick them in the ear. I couldn't flick you in the ear because you have ear guards. I think I was just trying to do what I do best, and that's just run my mouth. And I thought, hey, you're like, hey, this guy he's really good with his mouth. Let's see what else he can do. But you didn't bite on that. So I was very hurt. And here we are now. You're on the podcast. And I have your phone number now. And
oh, shit.
It can only get better from here.
That is an accurate response.
I got some videos for you if you'd like to see.
Don't open
I'll send you one of the podcast and we can go from there.
Oh, geez.
I'll do it right now if you want to watch it as we
No.
watch it live.
Oh man, Kraft, I really appreciate you spending time jumping on with us, buddy. We love hearing. Abdoo and I love hockey. It is a big community. We love hearing all of the different stories, the varying backgrounds that everybody's come from. A lot of similar stories in the Savannah area of guys that are relatively new, but are appreciative of the community, appreciative of the local league, the local professional team, things like that to kind of help continue growing the sport of hockey. And so I'm sure when there's a bunch of little crafters running around, you'll get them on the ice and have them involved too and play it also. But I can't thank you enough for spending time with us. And yeah, man, thanks
being
a lot.
good
We'll
sport.
see you.
Wait, time out really quick.
Yeah,
I just sent him a text message. I want to watch his reaction as he watches it.
Jeez Louise.
I'm afraid.
You
Don't
should
be afraid. Don't be. This is taking a long time. Did you hit play?
Oh, no.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
And on that note, Kraft.
Oh,
jeez, I'm sorry.
I'm scarred for life.
That's not even the worst. Oh, jeez. So, anyways, sorry, Kraft. That's a terrible way to end this.
Hey.
It's just an awful, stupid with it. Stop. Shout out, Rob. He's sending video. Oh, man. So, Crafter, thanks again for being on, buddy. We'll see you on the ice and wish you boys the best of luck rest of this season and, going forward.
Good luck tonight.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, buddy. We'll see you.
See you guys.
Oh, that was a good one. He had a lot to say. To say. So good on him. I know you have to bounce here. We're at the 45-minute mark.
Yeah, we're good.
So
I appreciate his background. I like the background. It's really neat. They had the desire, couldn't get into it. Can completely understand the single parent raising multiple kids. And then the desire never really went away. So
the love of the
gets
game.
to be an adult. Yeah, absolutely. Again, no matter what we've said in the past and what the friction was before, I can appreciate the heck out of somebody who just enjoys hockey, wants to be a part of it, wants to support it in any way possible. I think it's hilarious, the letters to the city. Like I said, I've grown up here my whole life, so I know how I'm not going to say worthless that is. I know how the city reacts to letters. They're not, they're like, okay, whatever, cool. But I appreciate that he's kind of got that stick with itness, that he was, he was passionate about it. Having never really ever truly played or in an organized league, he loved hockey. He wanted to keep it in the area or have it in the area, have it in the community. And now that it's here and he has an opportunity to play, he's taken full advantage of it. So I love that. I can't say enough. That's super cool. Love that story. So, but yeah. All right, guys, you know the deal. If you like what you've heard, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If we made you laugh, there's lots of funny parts of this one. You got to give us a follow. So I'm sure Abdoo will have great cut-ups from this for all the different social medias. Crafter, I'll apologize in advance for how he's going to end up editing some of this, because who knows what it's going to end up looking like. So, oh man, guys, thanks for listening. We will see you next time. Love you. Peace.
Bye and Merry Christmas.